Our top story tonight, though, is the growing fallout from last month's terror attack in Libya and the Obama administration's conflicting statements about it. That tells you just how serious this has become. We have Fox team coverage tonight. Chief White House correspondent Ed Henry looks at the latest episode of Obama administration damage control. But we begin with Chief Intelligence correspondent Catherine Herridge on what went down today just behind me on Capitol Hill. Good evening, Catherine.
Well, thank you, Brett. Lawmakers questioned today whether the president's political agenda drove security decisions on the ground in Libya and assertions by the administration.
There was no protest, and cameras reveal that, and the State Department, the FBI, and others have that video.
The top State Department official who testified before the House Government Oversight Committee confirmed that he told lawmakers a day after this attack on the Benghazi consulate that he believed it was terrorism.
I also believed that it was because of the nature of it and the lethality of it that was a complex attack.
Yet Ambassador Kennedy staunchly defended Ambassador Susan Rice, who 5 days after the attack made the rounds on the Sunday talk shows, insisting it was a demonstration prompted by a YouTube video for an anti-Islam film that spun out of control.
If any administration official, including any career official, were on television on Sunday, September 16th, they would have said what Ambassador Rice said.
That position challenged repeatedly by a Republican who just returned from the region.
When I was in Libya, good part of the day, never once did a person ever mention a video. Never.
With at least 230 documented security incidents in the year leading up to the attack, including this IED attack on the U.S. consulate in June, lawmakers were told that Tripoli could not protect American interests.
We could not rely on the Libyan government for security, intelligence, and law enforcement help to identify emerging threats or to ask them for assistance in mitigating those threats.
Through newly released emails and testimony, one theme dominated. Official Washington was preoccupied with reducing the number of American security personnel at the consulate and replacing them with Libyan guards, even after a series of attacks on diplomats. Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Wood recently oversaw military security for the consulate.
We were the last flag flying in Benghazi. We were the last thing on their.
A leading Democrat suggested Congress needed to look at its own actions.
The fact is that since 2011, the House has cut embassy security by hundreds of millions of dollars below the amounts requested by the president.
90 minutes after the hearing ended in a remarkable move, Ambassador Kennedy said he would take more questions from reporters in the State Department briefing room. What seems clear tonight is that there was unhappiness at state over Kennedy's statements, Brett.
Okay, Catherine, thank you.
You're welcome.
Minimizing the political damage from the Libya scandal is becoming more and more important to an administration suddenly fighting tooth and nail for its very survival. Chief White House correspondent Ed Henry was front and center for that today.
After President Obama's State Department revealed late last night officials there never believed the attack on September 11th was a protest gone awry, today White House spokesman Jay Carney was pressed on why he and Ambassador Susan Rice kept insisting it was a protest and not terrorism.
Did you and others mislead the public because you didn't want to admit there was a terror attack?
Absolutely not. The President of the United States referred to it as an act of terror immediately after it occurred, Ed, as you know.
While the president did briefly mention terror in his Rose Garden remarks the day after the attack,
no acts of terror will ever shake the resolve of this great nation.
Carney tried to use that quick mention by the president on September 12th to suggest the administration has been consistent in calling it terror.
Several days after that, is it terrorism? We kept saying we don't know. How can you revise that?
I would check the transcript. The issue was what led to the attack, and that has been an issue that we have provided assessments of based on the information that we have gleaned through the intelligence community, preliminary information.
2 days after the president's mention of terror, Carney did not say terror.
It is in response to a video, a film, that we have judged to be reprehensible and disgusting.
2 more days later, Fox's Chris Wallace asked Ambassador Rice if she really believed what Carney said.
Chris, absolutely, I believe that. What sparked the recent violence was the airing on the internet of a very hateful, very offensive video.
Republican Senator Bob Corker, just back from an official trip to Libya, charged today Rice was, in his words, thrown under the bus.
What the White House has done in order to save their own political skin and faux image on this issue is they have dishonored many people around this world.
Carney sharply denied that.
Again, this is a moving picture. And people who, on the night of an attack or the day after, claim they know all the facts without making clear that what we know is based on preliminary information aren't being straight. And they're, in some cases, trying to politicize a situation that should not be politicized.
Now, the latest Fox News poll shows the president taking a hit on the question of who do you trust more in handling foreign policy. He's dipped 5 points in recent weeks. Meanwhile, in his handling of Libya, only 37% now approve, 46% disapprove. Brett?
Ed Henry live in the North Lawn.